Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? Before I even get started, I want you to turn to the person to your right and say, I am my brother's sister's keeper. I am my brother's sister's keeper. Now turn to the person to your left, and even if it's no one to your left, just fake it. Say, I am my brother's sister's keeper. Thank you very much. Andy, thank you very much for having me here. I really appreciate this opportunity. And I want to thank the International Economic Development Council for even considering me to come speak. And before I even start my story, I want to give honor to my higher power by saying, hallelujah. I call him the creator of the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that in them there is, because that is why I stand here today. Now, I'm not here to preach a story or preach a sermon, but I'm like the book of Ezekiel. I love when he speaks about the person that turns from doing the wrong to choose to do the right. I am here to speak about a young man from Cincinnati, Ohio, born and raised, 4 siblings, all sisters, in a single-parent home, my mom, who worked at Procter & Gamble. There's a few of you all that may have heard of Procter & Gamble. She was a food auditor, and she worked long, hard hours at this particular place, which then left me and my sisters, my siblings, bless their heart. I love my sisters, but being the only boy, you have to imagine I wasn't into doll babies. Nevertheless, Mom raised us to be very respectful individuals in a very strict religious home. And so I had a good upbringing. Everything was cool, but she was a single parent, working long, hard hours for her children to eat. So that left a lot of unsupervised time for me and my siblings. Now, we were well behaved coming up. We were real tight and excellent students. Matter of fact, I was an A student all the way up through middle school, loving math and science, so I just was in love with school. But of course, as I matured and got older, I had friends, partners, buddies. So what happens is you get a little bit older and you start experimenting in life, and I turned to drugs and alcohol because my buddies love drugs and alcohol. And they introduced it to me at about the age of 15. And when I get to the age of 15, I start experimenting with this, and I actually like the party. I actually like that drug and alcohol. Now, I was a kind of shy kid with low self-esteem, and that liquid courage kicked in. And so this began a trend that led me to, by the time I'm 18 years old, to drop out of school. I was no longer interested in school. I was learning about making bad choices and bad decisions. So by 18, the young man that you see on the screen is full-fledged into partying and drinking and having a good time. And so my mother, bless her heart, I love my mom, who loves me very dearly, says to me, son, I love you, but that drinking and alcohol, you can't stay here. And I got the first taste of these words. You're gonna have to get out. Story of my life. Follow me with that one. Because sure enough, I had to leave. So 18, like a bunch of other young males out there, I'm working in Cincinnati, odd jobs, but I'm not going nowhere. So then I decided to myself, hey, why don't I join the Army? Good idea. Young man right there on that screen. Go in there. I'm going to the military. They're going to give me a sense of purpose and direction, and I'm just going to stay focused. And no. Bad decisions and that behavior will follow you everywhere you go. And sure enough, Uncle Sam loved my work ethic because I believe you don't work, you don't eat, and I, just love to work. But what they didn't love and what they sounded like was my mom after a while. Hey, you're a nice guy. We really like your personality. But with those drugs and alcohol, you gotta go. So now I'm out of the military, back home in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I spent years doing something now, another bad habit I developed, which is called couch surfing. And I began to sleep on couch to couch, apartment to apartment, person to person for years, just partying, sleeping on your couch, and your couch, whoever had a couch for me. Doing that for many years and finally got tired of that, had family in in Sacramento, in California, and they said to me, hey, at that time they called me Ed, Ed, come on out, come on out. Oh, you'll love California. It's a great place. Get to California, man. This is the perfect place to be. And so I get to California with my family, and I met a beautiful woman out there, loving woman. I love her to death. But she became my wife, and of course I'm out there. And guess what followed me to California? Me. I get to California, I brought me with me, and my wife did something totally different than Uncle Sam and my mom. I love you, great person, but with all that drinking, drugs, I'm leaving you. So the script was flipped on me. Whoa, wait a minute, you leaving me? You're not putting me out? No, she left. And so what I'm letting you know is all this time, I'm a great worker. I love to work. I love to work right now. But it seems the drinking, the drugging, those choices led me to the wrong people. Bad mentality led me to homelessness. I spent the year in Sacramento on the side of the road, and it came to a point, it was raining one day, I'm sleeping in my sleeping bag on the side of I-20. I know I can't handle this, it's too much. I call home to my mom, Mom, can I come home? You know what my mother told me? No, you're a grown man. You need to take care of yourself. I don't know what was worse, the rain, my tears, I don't know, my broken heart. But Mom told me, no, tough love sometimes is a great love. At that point, you see that young lady on that screen right there? I didn't know my wife left me. She was pregnant with that young lady. And sure enough, during that time, I found out. And I said, I'm not going to let my child see me being this drug addict, sleeping on the side of the road. And I had family in Atlanta. And guess what? Come to Atlanta. I'm on my way. I get here, it's 1996, and yes, the Braves are hot. They're like this championship team, and the Olympics are here, and oh, Atlanta is the party city. Man, I got here, and it was like, ah. I mean, because when you party, hey, like it's 1999, I'm having a great time. Got here, and I brought me with me, as you can hear. And I'm sitting here and I'm partying. Now I'm working jobs because I love to work, but I'm losing jobs. I'm losing opportunities, and I'm killing any good potential opportunity that arose because of my drinking and drugging. And I did it for years. I even was promoted at jobs. I had people promote me, love me, but my alcohol and drug use was just tearing me apart. And the family that had me come here, that was willing to be that, springboard to come on up, I destroyed those relationships. That's what happened with drugs and alcohol. And that's what happened with my life. And so at some point, that young lady right there got older. That's my beautiful daughter, Angelique Janae Hamner. Love her. That young lady is the reason why my life changed. What happened is she was graduating high school in that picture. That's what you see. And what then happened behind that, I go there, I see her graduate, and I don't want her to remember her father as a homeless drug addict. I comes back to Atlanta with a whole new heart, a whole new mindset to change. And I did. I volunteered. I got into a detox facility that led me to a place called the Salvation Army. And when I get there, bam, what you see on that screen right there begins to be a part of my transformation. Back on my feet, that card that's on your table that reads, back on my feet, a national organization operating in 12 major cities, coast to coast, combats homelessness through the power of running, community support, and essential employment and housing resources. That group right there helped me change my life. When I got to running with them, I had never been a runner, never dreamt of running. Get with this organization. They encouraged me to come out and run, and I started running, and self-esteem started coming. And since then, I've ran 5 marathons. One of them's the Boston. You'll see. But this organization gave me self-esteem, empowered me to believe in myself that I can turn my life around. And my peers at that picnic right there are my friends to this day. These volunteers are my friends to this day. This happened in 2013. I have been clean and sober since that time. But what's the point of all of this? What does that really mean? Well, that's what you're here. That's why you're here. Economic development. Empowering the community. I'm a part of the community. I'm that group that's willing to turn their life around. I'm that one that I don't want you to forget when you're developing the community, as like Amy was speaking about. There's that sector that we can't forget about. And Atlanta is a close-knit family type of city and environment, and you can't forget about that group. We're like the picture of me running in Boston. It's a struggle sometimes. It's hard sometimes. This life is not that easy, but we can persevere and we can cross the line. We can achieve, and sometimes we need help. We need your help. Why? You're coming to the community. How can we build it up? How can we make housing affordable? How is that possible? Who's going to live in that house? How is it possible, as Robert's singing in his song, how is it possible for them to stay in that house if they can't afford to live in that house? And wait a minute, they can't live anywhere if they're not educated enough. We have to find a way to empower the individuals that are living in the impoverished neighborhoods and give them a chance to get back on their feet. How do you help Eli? Because there's thousands of Elis across this globe, across this country. There's thousands of Elis in your city that just need that one person, that one individual that believes in them, that comes out like my friend Heather sitting there. Come on, Eli, let's go for a run. You can do it. You can do well in school. Like my friend Christy with her friends in Indiana. You can make it. You can turn your life around. And my daughter, who was so happy with her dad, like, Dad, you ran a marathon. I'm not walking down the street. And my parents who are now at home, like, my mom, like, did you win? I'm like, yeah, they gave me a medal at the end. When you help an individual like me and empower me to get back on my feet and turn my life around, I then affect the people that are close to me, my circle, my mother, my father, my sisters, my brothers, and yes, my peers. See this picture right here? Back on my feet helps me get to Marriott. I love that that whole business. That's who I'm employed with. And I started out in housekeeping there. And I was willing, like Robert's lyrics, to sweep the floor. I'm willing to be that houseman. I'm willing to work at the bottom until the opportunity comes, and now I'm at the W. And guess what? I'm in engineering now. And yes, I'm in school. Who helped me in school? Who empowered me? Back on my feet. You have to find a partner. Did someone say make a partnership? Back on my feet is about community, is about helping people empower themselves. They've helped me with HVAC school. They are the ones that are saying, we believe in you, Eli. We know it's 5 years down the road. We know that you are ready to become a productive part of the society. We see it in you. So they helped me with school. I need financial aid. They came right through, didn't hesitate. We got you. Now I'm almost completed as of December with HVAC school. Now I have a skilled trade. Now as you're building up the community here in Atlanta, I can come and be employed in the environment that you're building up. And there's thousands, remember, close your eyes for just a moment. There's thousands of Elis in your city. Remember me, there's thousands of us. When you're rebuilding and building up these communities and getting these jobs, there's thousands like me. We're out there waiting for that opportunity, but we need you. See, the measure of a nation is how it treats its weakest members. See, that's its greatness. But I also want to remind you of this, and I had to pull this up to make sure, because we are American citizens, and this is a creed. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refused of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. See, that's what makes America great. Your willingness to turn around, see me, and say, give me him or her. Let me pull them up. Let me lift them up. See, that's what that song's about. I put my steel toes on when I go to the W. I'm in there working. I work the weekends. I do the overnight shift. I'm leaving here to go do the overnight shift. I'm doing what it takes to become productive. But you cannot, I cannot, and I will not be able to do that without your help, because my history says I'm a drug addict. I'm an alcoholic. So yes, I have to stay connected to those that are mentoring me to become a better individual, a better person, to live a better life. That's what I'm about. And there are more me's out there than you realize. And we're waiting on you. We need you to build up the communities. We need you to make America great again. But we need you to not forget the poor, the downtrodden, the oppressed financially. We need your help. So when you build up these communities in your different respective cities, remember me. Remember this face. Remember this guy right here. So when you walk past those shelters, there's some talent in there. There's some skilled individuals in there that you may want to connect with. So I suggest you look at those cards on the table, pick up one of those, and make a new partner. Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.